E3 2011.
Right now, to tell us about everything Activision is doing at E3 and later this year is the CEO, Eric Hirshberg. Eric, it's great to have you here live on Spike.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about Activision and what you guys are doing here at E3. Obviously, the big game for you is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 that we had on Spike yesterday a couple times with some demos. Tell us about that game, because I think there's obviously, from a gamer perspective, there have been a lot of questions about it. Infinity Ward has had a lot of changes. Now they're teamed up with Sledgehammer Games, which is the ex-Dead Space team. The demos were out there yesterday, but there's a lot of competition with EA and Battlefield 3. How do you think it's shaping up?
I think the game looks incredible, and I think that the combination of Sledgehammer and Infinity Ward it's kind of a 1 + 1 = 3 situation. There's the guys who essentially invented the genre and invented the franchise. And then, the guys from Sledgehammer are some pretty talented dudes who are bringing some new ideas, and it's just sparks are flying and good things are happening. And, the response we got, we opened up the Microsoft press conference yesterday with a harbor level and, got great reaction to that. And what we're hearing from the booth is, I just came from there and we ran our little, Modern Warfare 3 show, and there was spontaneous applause. Which is pretty unusual in a booth.
It's epic action. So you mentioned it's Infinity Ward, the guys that created, the genre. I mean, how much of Infinity Ward is still left there? Because there are obviously a lot of, rumors that most of the team's not there anymore.
Yeah, I started with Activision after everything you're referring to happened, and so all I can comment on is the people who I'm working with today, which is one of the most just dazzlingly creative groups of people I've ever met, and some of the best in the world at what they do. And anyone who thinks that this isn't the real Infinity Ward is wrong, and I think the proof will be in the pudding.
All right, well, you've shown a couple demos now, so the gameplay is out there for people to judge. We had John Riccitiello here earlier, though, and he's talking about the greatest battle in video game history happening this holiday season between Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3. A lot of gamers are saying they think Battlefield 3 looks, next generation, a step beyond Modern Warfare. I'm sure you disagree. Right?
Well, look, we have tough competition in this genre every year. Last year we were up against a little franchise called Halo, and Battlefield is not the only other big entry in the genre. There's Gears of War. We love good competition. I think the more good games there are out there, the better it is for everybody. But I have all confidence in the world that what we're going to put out with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is going to be amazing and an incredible experience and will not disappoint.
Now, as you look to Call of Duty in future years, I think you've been pretty public in saying we want to do a Call of Duty game every year or annualize it. How do you look at that brand? Because I think a lot of people say it's such a powerful brand. I mean, you could do other genres of games. You could even go to maybe 2 games a year. I mean, how do you look at that brand for the next 3 to 5 years?
I think we found the right cadence. I think that a lot of people look at our annual release schedule and say, oh, they're oversaturating it. All of the commercial appetite would not support that theory. In fact, we have a hard time keeping up with people's appetite for the brand. And if you look at the DLC, there's a tremendous appetite. And for us, it's just all about quality. We're never going to release a game that we don't think is great. And we're lucky in that we have some
even if you
tremendous
had to skip
developers. We're never going to release a Call of Duty game that's not great. That would be the worst thing we could do.
Okay.
And we haven't yet. And it's a unique franchise in that it's been in existence 7 years. It's grown every single year of its existence. There's not many entertainment franchises that can say that, let alone gaming franchises.
Now, every year, exactly. It was like Modern Warfare 2, then Black Ops, and just keep beating records. So it's great for the business.
It's great for the business.
The franchise does so well. And of course, multiplayer is a big part of that.
Huge.
You guys announced last week a new service called Call of Duty Elite that will be coming out. And I think there's a lot of confusion amongst the gamers about that service when it was announced, because there was a Wall Street Journal story that said it was a subscription service. And I think people are confused. So we wanted to give you an opportunity to sort of set the record straight about what Elite is, because you're not charging for multiplayer, and you're saying you're only adding services on top. And some of those services may actually be free still, right? You haven't decided what you're going to charge for?
Yeah, I don't think I'm not sure whether it's confusion or disbelief.
Okay.
I think that the rumors were so rampant that we were going to start charging a subscription just to play multiplayer. That everyone assumed that's what we were going to do. Everybody was saying that but us. And we've actually been on the record a number of times saying that we have no plans to do that, and that we think the core value proposition of buying the disc and getting a great campaign mode, a great multiplayer mode, a great Spec Ops, and then the ability to buy DLC throughout the year is the core value proposition. We're not changing that, and Call of Duty Elite doesn't change that. If you want to keep playing Call of Duty,
you're not taking anything away from anyone.
We're not taking anything away. And a healthy percentage of Call of Duty Elite services will be free, and we think the free portion of Elite alone will be the best free service in the industry. And the reason we think that it's got more features, some of them are industry firsts, And that's just the free part. Now, there will be a premium membership. And the reason there's a little bit of confusion is that we had a tough choice to make. With a service like this, we really wanted to do a beta. I think it would have been foolish for us to launch it without testing it at scale, getting the bugs out before we officially launched it. In order to launch it, we're launching it using the Black Ops multiplayer community. But the service was really designed to be deeply integrated as a part of MW3.
Right.
So a lot of the most innovative services aren't demonstrable yet.
Okay.
And they won't be until we get closer to launch. So we had a choice between launching the service incomplete and doing the beta, or not releasing it until launch and risking, having a few bugs, when we got it up to scale.
So in beta, it's not going to cost you anything, right?
The beta is free.
Okay.
Free to all.
So the first time people would ever be charged would be sort of November, December.
And that's only if they choose.
Right.
If people don't want to join the premium subscription, there's nothing that requires you to do so.
Right. Okay.
But we think that we've developed some pretty killer apps within it, and that there's some things that are going to be pretty appealing to people that will make. We think that the free portion of Elite will be the best free service in the industry. We think the paid portion, could reset the bar.
Can you tease people about sort of what some of those features are, or what you're going to be able to get? Because I think people now are like, well, there's stats, but do I have to pay for those? There's a lot of confusion about sort of what's free and what's not.
Well, we haven't done a complete delineation of what's free and what's not. And part of what we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of the knowledge we learned from the beta and get some feedback and that sort of thing. But the heat maps, the stats, the entire Connect mode is all going to be part of the free service. And this is all in our FAQs. It's up on our website now. And I obviously can't, talk about the paid portion because a lot of it's not demonstrable yet, and I don't want to verbally describe something that's going to make a great first impression the first time people see it. So
there'll be maps and content actually for these games that you'll get.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, Eric, congratulations on a great
And also
E3.
the DLC for any subscriber. Every piece of content that we put out will be a part of it.
You get a subscription, or you can buy it separately. I guess
if you want to continue to buy it a la carte, that's your choice. But if you are part of the premium subscription, you'll get every piece of content, every playable piece of content that we make.
Coming first still to Xbox 360, though, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, Eric, thank you so much.